Hi, I'm Gerry from Gerry's Craft Room, and in this video I'm going to make a mixed media page, and I will be using ink, stencils and embossing powder and just do some experimenting. I start with adding water to my page with a distress sprayer, and then I add some color with the Aqua pen in the places where the water puddles are, and this makes the Aqua ink spread and move a bit. I spray some more water to soften the color, and I spray in the direction I want the color to go. I dry with the heat tool from all sides, and this will give some gorgeous texture. And just so you know, I added the products I used in the description box for you, and you can find the full list of supplies on my blog. And if you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. And then I blot the page. And then I dried some more with the heat tool, and I bumped into the page and I made a stain and tried to rub it off when it wasn't dry, so I made it worse. Anyway, I will fix that later, just so you know. I'm going to add some embossing ink with a Holtz stencil, and these stencils are a nice thickness and this gives you different options. I just press the ink pad on the stencil, no turning or swiping, you don't want to mess up your ink pad as it has a foam top, and then I add clear embossing powder. I melted the embossing powder with a heat tool, and I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Now, because it's clear embossing ink and the powder also, it's pretty hard to see, so just wait for it. And here you can see the shiny melted embossing powder. I add the stencil over the embossed part, so in the same place, and I'm going to add ink on top of it. I use a regular distress ink, which is a dye ink, and it will add a bit of a translucent layer. And here you can see the layer on top of the embossing powder and a bit around it, which gives a fun effect. I melted it with the heat tool and it didn't blend as much as I hoped. So I'm going to do something different for the bottom part. I just ink it and blend the edges a bit. I wanted some more color, so I come in straight with the ink pad. And I heat set it with the heat tool in between to melt the little ink drops in the embossing powder. And I keep playing until I get the look I like, so adding more ink and blending. And while you are here, have you seen the community tab at the top? It's available on smartphone and desktop computer. I will share new and fun things that I like behind the scenes, polls and such, so you can check that out if you like. And the top was a bit too light, so I add more ink there too. I add it with the ink pad and I blend it with the ink blending tool. And here you can see this sort of grunge effect on the page. I use another one of the stencils from the set and I add more ink and I move the stencil to make a bigger pattern. And the other stencil to add some more color and texture. I'm going to ink the edges. I cut a Holtz frame and wildflowers and add those to the page. And even though I didn't quite get what I aimed for, I really liked the result. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure to keep on crafting!